when it comes to regime changes, right? It is that India, as a state and as a country, has really traded allies. I mean, look at what happened to Dr. Najib and onwards, and that is well within India's rights as a sovereign state in a country. But I think what is also reality that India is a historical and a traditional friend of the Afghan people, betrayed the Afghan people much in the same way that others did, probably, but Afghans feel extremely emotional when their visas were rejected, when Afghan military personnel, especially members of the former Afghan National Security Forces, those wounded in Indian hospitals, were overthrown from hospitals in August 2021. And Afghan intelligence chiefs who are in India on a training purposes or for other work related purposes were asked to leave India immediately in, let's say, unfriendly fashions. And India overnight turned its back on Afghans. And India's outreach to Taliban figures and ministers is quite interesting because at the moment India's closest ally in the Taliban government is Mullah Yaqub, and India probably has its own calculations on how it wants to basically advance its relationship with the Taliban as the current rulers, as would any other country and state do. However, what India is willing to go with, and this is a ticking time bomb. That's a regime that has not only cracked down against its own people, it has not changed its position on education, but the relationship with various militant groups, including Al Qaeda in the Indian Peninsula, is very interesting. In the immediate aftermath of the collapse of the Afghan Republic, um, uh, I would say thousands of American weapons, I would not go to more than that, made its way to Kashmir. And that facilitation was done by the Haqqanis and others with the help of Zawahiri at the time or his instruction. And the AQIS leader, Mahmoud, was kind of the key architect of that. So India would have to really ask some serious questions. What sort of impact its short-sighted, policies at the moment could have on the future. But there's no doubt within a larger, section of the anti-Taliban constituency, including those who've been extremely close in their relationship with India, that they think that clearly that India betrayed them overnight. And I think there's a lesson for Afghans again, for all of us here, that we have to do a lot of self-reflection. That what we did in terms of our regional approach over the last 20 years, how can Afghans, in light of all of those mistakes and realities and choices by allies and friends in the region and far and beyond, think clearly and think visibly